now available in paperback and e-readers. Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess. The goddess next door takes on the threat of a deadly digital diva driven to destroy the world in this action-packed, all-new Isis series adventure. Get Isis, Revenge of the Cyber Goddess featuring a bonus pin-up and the other 2 books in the Cyber Goddess saga at online bookstores everywhere today. The CW will not be picking up the Black Lightning spinoff called Painkiller. Now, it was announced that Black Lightning, when it was ending with its 4th and final season, was going to have a spinoff featuring a new hero called Painkiller. Unfortunately, it looks like the CW is not going to pick up Painkiller, and the series may possibly wind up getting shopped elsewhere. Now, when I take a critical examination of the CW's decision not to pick up the Painkiller series, I'm very happy with that decision. And the reason why I'm very happy with that decision is because we won't get another series from Greg Berlanti that presents black heterosexual men in a negative light. Now, your Greg Berlanti, as I see it, has some serious issues with heterosexual black men because in every one of his TV shows and productions, he goes out of his way to present black men in an extremely negative light. So I'm glad that I won't have to deal with yet another one of his programs going out here and breathing brand new life into old stereotypes about black men. Now, your Greg Berlanti has been pushing stereotypes about black men ever since he introduced John Diggle on the show Arrow and establishing the Arrowverse. And all your John Diggle was basically Oliver Queen's butler, and all he was there to do was clean up most of Oliver Queen's messes. So Diggle the butler was the first of many bumbling, stumbling stereotype characters, and I wasn't happy with seeing any of the more of these stereotypes on these Berlanti shows. Now, that wasn't the only stereotype character presented on your Berlanti shows. There was also Kid Flash, who was on The Flash for about a season or 2, and he was the son of a single mom, and his character basically tarnished the Joe West character, who was a responsible father, and turned him into a baby daddy. So your Greg Berlanti will passively include black characters, but then aggressively use them to promote numerous racist stereotypes about black men, and that's one of the things that really aggravates me about many of his shows, is seeing him either take a character like a John Diggle and make him into a butler, even though John Diggle is more skilled and more capable than Oliver Queen, and was shown to be just as on the same level as Oliver Queen, but he's the butler cleaning up the messes and not being his own man. Now, Berlanti Productions has also gone on to go out here and do more black male characters wrong, like in the case of James Olsen on Supergirl. Now, on Supergirl, they had introduced a black James Olsen to replace the red-headed white male Jimmy Olsen, but they didn't really want to fully develop his character because in the beginning, it looked like they were going to make him a strong alpha male love interest for the white female Kara. Unfortunately, many racist fanboys came out here and complained, and after hearing all of those complaints, instead of us seeing that interracial relationship between Kara, Supergirl, and James Olsen, your James Olsen was pushed to the back of the show and on the back burner, and then eventually came back and became the guardian of the friend zone. And as the guardian of the friend zone, he basically watched as his character became emasculated, neutered, and ignored as Mon-El became the love interest on the show. So this was another slap in the face to black male comic fans in having another character marginalized and neutralized in as related to this show. Now, this didn't only go on with DC Comics adaptations from Berlanti Productions. This also went on with Archie Comics Productions, because on the show Riverdale, instead of us getting a Chuck Clayton who was true to his character, who was basically Archie's friend and a very, very confident and intelligent young black man, we got Chuck Clayton, the big black brute, who goes out here and lies on his penis, talking about how he gives white girls sticky maples. Now, what was disturbing about that episode was it was one, written by a black woman, and that nobody at the CW understood what this meant as related to black people, because a black man in a white suburban town like Riverdale telling a lie like that historically is a racist thing to do, because this is what got Emmett Till murdered, and this is what led to many black males winding up with their lives put on the line, like in the case of a guy, I think his name was White, his last name was White, when he had a mob of white kids storming the door because his son had an interest in a white girl, and this practically led to this mob coming to his door, and he wound up shooting one of the kids in self-defense with his own legal gun. And this writer of Riverdale really didn't understand a black boy lying like that would possibly lead to him losing his life, and didn't understand all the racial implications of it. But she went out here and did this episode with Chuck Clayton as a black brute. And again, in this showed how Berlanti Productions really did not understand what they were doing, and again presented another negative image of black men. Now, the penultimate thing for the degradation of black men as related to Berlanti Productions was what I call the Diggle moment. Now, this Diggle moment came when your John Diggle took over as Green Arrow, when Oliver Queen said he was overwhelmed in taking care of his son and couldn't be Green Arrow. And again, passively, they were going to give John Diggle an expanded role, but then aggressively, they were pushing racism, because they were saying that because John Diggle was injured, he was taking drugs as he was trying to do this role, and he could not handle the role of being Green Arrow. And then Oliver Queen steps back into the role of Green Arrow because John Diggle is overwhelmed. And then after everything is taken care of by Oliver Queen, your John Diggle, the butler, comes back and talks about, can he wear the Green Arrow costume once again? And then Oliver Queen tells him being Green Arrow allows him to be the best man he can be. And this statement is the ultimate N-word moment for your John Diggle, because basically your John Diggle, who has been proven to be just as capable as Oliver Queen on the show Arrow, your Oliver Queen is telling John Diggle that he is less of a man because being Green Arrow allows him to be the best him he could be. So he basically was putting your John Diggle in his place in this episode. And after your John Diggle got the Diggle moment, we clearly showed how racist your Berlanti Productions were. Now, your Black Lightning as a show has often had many of these same racist moments all throughout the show, and I had my fill of Black Lightning and its numerous racist stereotypes all throughout the show after season 2, when your Jefferson was demoted from his principal job for no reason, and I barely could stomach the first season of Black Lightning. But people are saying, that they want to go out here and have a new spinoff. No, another spinoff would have more of the same stereotypes, like the bumbling, stumbling Mr. Terrific from Arrow, who again, the world's third smartest man, and equal to Batman, turned into a bumbling, stumbling idiot. And there would be ways to go out here and degrade black men and the black male image on this Painkiller show. And instead of this show being killing the pain of black men by presenting a positive image of black manhood and black masculinity, we would be in pain watching black men being degraded on this show, because the producers of this show, Greg Berlanti, has a clear, serious issue with black men. So a Painkiller show would be painful to watch and a pain to tolerate. So I really don't want to see a Painkiller show, because it would be just painful to sit there and watch numerous stereotypes perpetuated and see a black man degraded the way I've seen black men degraded on that new Netflix show. I mean, and those clips that I saw, that clips in the trailer of that show, I mean, we're just seeing a lot of negative images of black men, and I bet this Painkiller show would be, if it was allowed, wherever it's shopped, whether it's HBO Max or wherever it goes, would feature more stereotypes about black men. So I'm not missing this show because the show it came from was chock full of stereotypes and didn't do black men any favors. And I know a Painkiller show isn't going to do black men any favors anyway. So just, it's best for everybody to move on, because I don't trust Greg Berlanti. Greg Berlanti's shows have not gone out here and presented a black man in a positive light. They have not gone out here and elevated the black male image. And yes, Black Lightning, yes, featured a black man as a father, but he's been marginalized on his show, and they've been pushing his daughters, especially his daughter, who was a part of the alphabet community, more than him. So I'm not really eager to see what they would do on Painkiller, because I know, again, it would be very painful for black men to watch. And the thing that really is painful for me is we have not really gotten a good, strong, balanced black man on TV since Netflix canceled Luke Cage. I mean, if we could get something like a Luke Cage back on the air, where we saw an image of responsible black masculinity, an image of strong black manhood, that I would like to see. But I don't trust Greg Berlanti to give that to us. And with his track record of producing all of these shows that feature the worst images of black men, I believe that this is a mercy killing of this show, and it would do everybody some good. So yeah, there's no Painkiller right now, and they're probably gonna either shop it around or shelve it, but it's all for the better, because if you're gonna put on an image of a black man, let's have a positive one. And again, I don't really want to see anything from Greg Berlanti, because every production he produces featuring a black man does not really show us a good image of heterosexual black men, heterosexual black masculinity, or heterosexual black manhood. So I really am sorry for the people who worked on this show, but it really is better for the overall image of black men, because when you have a guy who produces content that presents the worst image of us, I'd rather see no production than see a production on screen that makes us look bad. Now, there are a lot of great concepts out here from producers like myself, in the African American book market, like the John Haynes series, and I would rather people go out here and pick up some of those than have to deal with something from Berlanti Productions that presents the worst image of us. Now, if you want to see a strong image, positive image of black manhood and black masculinity, you can pick up the books of the John Haynes series and The Temptation of John Haynes on Amazon.com in paperback. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, Taking Care of Business. The man who rules the world breaks in a brand new partner to help him take care of business in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get John Haynes, Taking Care of Business at paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere.